I had this falling out with a friend today, but I'm happy about it because it's better to tell the truth than live life in denial. Like some people, they may have lots of friends, but they don't tell the truth. Like I can get along with everyone if I lie. But I had this little thought. I was like, oh, should you hold your tongue? And I was like, I can't. I have to say the truth. And then he deleted me, blocked me. We want to just start, well, I won't say anything about his name because I'm a respectful person, but he was saying that he used to do this work for models on Instagram whereby he would pretend to be them and then talk to guys, in private messages as if he was the model. And I said to him, like Andrew Tate. Dude, that's a bit messed up to be flirting with dudes pretending you're a girl. And that's all I said. And then he was typing for a long time, and then he deleted me. And we've been talking non-stop about socio-political issues, even wanted to start a political party together. But because I called him out on the fact that it's a bit strange to be pretending. Well, yeah, I do think so. I don't think it's healthy to pretend to be a woman and then flirt with guys. I think it's very strange. Like, you could offer me a lot of money, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't flirt with guys and get paid for it. That's pretty homosexual. And it's also not good for society because then these dudes are talking to dudes. They think they're talking to women. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, because then all these guys, you don't want to be talking to a woman who's a man because you're never going to have the right connection with a man because a woman is different. And it's going to give them a false sense of reality. Like, you don't want to go out with yourself. And if you're talking to a woman online and she's actually a man, it's going to give you a false sense of reality that you can find women who act just like you. But you don't want a woman who's just like you, because men and women are different, and that's beautiful. You're not supposed to see eye to eye on everything. If you have the exact same views on money, on religion, as a girl that you're talking to, that's scary. You don't want to go out with yourself. Opposites attract. Yin and yang. Apollo and Dionysus. It's the laws of attraction. Oh, shut the...
Yep, that's one every 3 seconds.
And he got really sensitive when I was talking about how the dangers of pornography on society, because I'm not perfect, but I really don't think it's good for society. I think it's one of the major problems that have made the Western Empire fall is video games and pornography. It's these vices. People think, oh no, it's the Jews, it's the immigration, it's the bloody politicians. It's like, yeah, but what are the men doing? What are the men doing? They're staying at home, they're playing video games, and they're watching porn. And they wonder why everything turns to shit. It's because you're not meant to have all this easy pleasure. When in society, all the lowest common denominator males have all this access to all these beautiful women. Yeah, look, I said I'm not perfect, but we can still agree that something isn't good for society without being perfect yourself. I admit I have flaws, but you still have to admit that it's a problem for society. It's like, for example, let's say speeding. You could occasionally speed, but it doesn't mean that you think everyone should speed all the time. Yeah, I don't know what that guy means. I remember watching a little bit of Sneeko, and he was saying that the whole point of people in the chat is to try like mess up the flow of people, not try and make them crash out. But I mean, you may think it's a weird statement, but I honestly feel like it's one of the biggest problems in society, because not just online content, but also just, I keep harping on about it in my videos, but just like the idea of casual sex there anyway, I do think it's bad for society, because this is very complicated, but when you're removing commitment and it's just about the act of pleasure, the power dynamics shift. Because if you're thinking about a potential mate as someone to be with for life, how different is the dynamics? If you're thinking about someone for life versus someone for one night, the dynamics are so different. And what it does is it gives a hyper focus to simply the physical traits. And the problem is, that isn't everything. Because if you have, let's say you're looking for a woman to be with, and she's got great hips, stomach and lips and breasts. When you have children and the baby cries in the middle of the night, that's not going to be your priority. When you're going through things like COVID and lockdowns, that's not going to be your priority. You know, when you're trying to decide whether or not the vaccines are suitable, when you're thinking about your children and vaccinating them, when there's after you've had children as well, because think about it, the discipline. If a woman has just had nothing but she's just sexy, do you think she's going to bounce back after having children? Yeah, because someone may be hot when they're 21, but after you've had children, like it takes love and commitment to want to stay that way. Like you have to have something bigger than yourself, because how many women do you know, or men just as bad, they get into a relationship and they stop taking care of themselves. And I think it's pretty easy to focus on just being hot when you're single, because you're not doing anything together. Like you're always just hang out with friends or alone. Yeah, you have to solve problems together. You have to have someone who's intelligent and loyal and had the basic political beliefs. Like if someone's a radical lefty and your traditional family values, that's very, very, very rarely going to work, because things are going to come into issue. Like you're going to have dinners together almost every night and conversation. You can't lie to yourself. And the problem is, when you meet in your early 20s, it's very different to your late 20s, because your early 20s, most people are left wing, but when you're late 20s, most people become right wing unless they're on medication. And so it's a big problem if you start to age and one person doesn't actually evolve politically. Oh, I freaking hate sports, man. Leonard, I like sports to play with your mates, especially when you're a kid, but I can't stand it used as a tool of distraction and taking away the alpha males of anything that matters in society. Kick a ball from side to side so you can gamble on, so these fat cats can sit in their trucks on their way to work, on the work, and they're watching horse races. I've actually worked with this job a little bit. There was this guy driving a 10-ton truck down the highway, had like 4 hours sleep, living off nothing but Red Bull, and he was on watching gambling and putting bets on horse races while he is driving, swerving. Yeah, whatever. I'm talking about sports in general. The main point of sports is for gambling and for distraction. And I can't stand how all of these good men are distracted by sports. They don't care about anything that matters. Yeah, exactly, Rubicon. Exactly. And it's one of the few things that's socially acceptable for men to talk about. Yeah, I think it's good to play with your friends. Hell yeah. Right on. Get that, athletics, it's good for you. It's just the fact that these guys are idolized. Why are these football players idolized, these pop stars idolized, when there's like thinking people, there's philosophers, there's engineers, there's good politicians out there, things that actually matter, builders, cooks, mothers, healers, to an extent, doctors and some lawyers. Some of them, most of them are pretty soulless, but you got to think, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty deep quote, isn't it? But it's a fallacy, that quote, because you can think you're thinking, but you're just regurgitating thoughts. You could just be the byproduct of all the famous writers at the time, and you're just regurgitating it. You're just basically like a penguin that's regurgitating information. Yeah, but it's pretty impressive to kick a field goal, but there's a hell of a lot of good stuff going on. And just think about our society and how established it is. I'm in a building right now. I'm on the 43rd floor. That's a big deal. And it's not shaking. I think that some of these engineers deserve a bit of respect. And also, even just the fact that how much time does football take? Yeah, play with your sports, with your friends. Yeah, but why not just play it like a small thing, in your community, and have the wives and kids there, and the cousins there, and your uncles there, and your grandparents there. Not this like big coliseums where they're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. In America, what do they get paid, like $10-20 million per year? And I know university is pretty cooked, it's pretty communist, but there's professors sleeping in their car while these guys kick a field goal and they're getting paid $10 million a year. And it's just a shame and also little things. This may sound absurd, but I was walking past this bar yesterday in Main Street in Mornington. Hate's a strong word, but there was this building that had a lot of potential, and I thought it's a shame that people don't take pride in like doing up a nice bar, because when you have a nice building, like the architecture, it adds to the atmosphere on the street. You can go for a walk with your lady and your kid and have a cup of hot chocolate, and you can look at the beautiful architecture, and it inspires you, and you can get together, and you want to go out. You want to go out to these places, and you bask in the glory of the atmosphere, So if people didn't care so much about status, and the whole problem with sports is that it's encouraging young men. Life's all about being the big shot, like just trying to be a footy player. And then you can have so much effect on society if you just build a nice building and you decorate it nice and you have a nice atmosphere. But the problem is people are so obsessed with status that they don't do anything that actually matters. And sick. You walked past me last night. Yeah, well, what was I wearing? How ugly are buildings now? You know what I mean? Buildings are ugly because people don't care about it, because no one wants to be a builder because they think it's not. You don't get. No, last night I was wearing a black coat. It was like a woolen coat that I bought for $450 in 2020 when I got my $10,000 super out. Yeah, if people didn't worship sports stars, people would put more effort into things that actually mattered, like community enrichment. And people wouldn't feel so ashamed about running a restaurant. Like everyone wants to be a big shot, you know, everyone wants to be the next Zuckerberg, but no one cares about adding to the community. No one cares about financing aesthetic buildings, because to me, as an Anglo-Saxon European, cathedrals, buildings is our culture. It's my culture. Is the expression through architecture. And when you've taken that away from me, yeah, but you got my clothes wrong. Yeah, so buildings is culture, and people don't get enough respect. And a lot of jobs are nonsense. A lot of jobs are absolute nonsense. And the only reason why they're successful is because they're using chutzpah. They're using cunning manipulation. Like I was working at this place in King Street in Melbourne, whereby it was like the Blue Light Disco. They get the student handbooks, and you call up businesses and you say, advertise in our book, and those folks in that job were getting paid $20K a week. You know what they were doing? They were saying, oh, kids are dying. Do you have any idea what's going on with the meth epidemic? You got to donate today and tell the kids not to do it. And so these people getting paid $20K a week because they were using fear, and they were abusing the trust of small town Australians to lie to them and say they're going to make a difference by donating to this stupid little student handbook that's going to the schools to educate children on the dangers of meth and sex, or not sex, but I'm not sure the other things. But the point is, most people who make a lot of money, it's because they are abusing the trust of their ancestors. And so the reason why they're good at it is because most people are not shameless enough to stoop so low to do what they're doing, which makes money. So of course you're going to make money if you're willing to have no standards, if you're willing to be shameless. But if everyone did that, there's no society, there's nothing to buy. What's the point of hoarding bags of jewels if there's no society to buy anything from? You understand? Like, they're just hoping that, oh, I can get away with abusing people's trust, but then someone else is going to be trustworthy, and then I can buy some stuff from them, still have my day in the sun. I can still have a nice house, and my wife will be proud of me because I'm having a bigger house. And I'll get the Uber Eats, and I've got the big car, and I can drive along in traffic and the shitty traffic everywhere and be like, oh, I've made it. But then there's nothing, there's no nice buildings. You're just driving to things you don't believe in. So yeah, I don't like the idolization of sports stars. And like when I was a young man, I bet you though, if you didn't spend so much time watching sports stars, then you have more money for Uber Eats. But also Uber Eats are overrated, man. I guarantee you can cook better. Uber Eats is overrated. Let me tell you, my friend, buddy. Let me tell you, my friend, Uber Eats is overrated. You can cook just as well. You know, you can watch a couple of YouTube videos, get a few herbs and spices, chuck it in there, heat up the pan nice and good. Bro, Uber Eats sucks, man. I can't stand it. And then all these people know where you live, and they spit in your food. They rub their sexual organs all on your fried chicken. That's not mayonnaise. It's disgusting. And you want to eat someone else's food, you go to a restaurant. You take out your lover. You go to a restaurant, and you bring your family, and there's a nice atmosphere, and there's dancing there, and you tip them, and it's a whole atmosphere. I mean, I've done Uber Eats, but I've probably done it like 3 times the past year. Hey, you can have a good time at Macca's. I've had good times at Macca's. I get I order an Angus patty. It's not a culture, it's just something you're doing because you're feeling vibes, you're feeling the vibes. I get an Angus patty, 2 Angus patties on their own with pickles. 2 Angus patties with extra pickles. That's it. It's a good Macca's meal. Macca's can be good, especially if you want to just have a place to work and use the Wi-Fi, and you like to see all the intricate characters or the funny characters. It inspires you to work because you're seeing all these funny people there. McDonald's doesn't have to be the worst thing, you know? If you just get the beef patties or the chicken patties, you can get grilled chicken patties there on their own. And you know how cheap it is? It's really cheap. Thank you very much to call me a funny character. It's like a third of the price, a quarter of the price of a burger. You know, what are you paying for in a burger? The shitty bread? Yeah, you know what that is? That's the mayonnaise, and that's the bread. And that probably get cheeseburger patty. But the... I'm not sure about in Australia, but in America, the quarter pounder patty comes fresh. But still, obviously, McDonald's is a last resort. I mean, grilled is so much better. Mate, it's a callback. You call that callback when someone remembers a joke you made. But I just realized I came onto this TikTok live so I wouldn't get distracted. I'm supposed to be doing work right now. I drove all the way and I got a goddamn house sitter so my wife's mother can look after the baby so I can do some work. And what am I doing? I'm sitting here talking about mayonnaise. Grilled is so much better though. Grilled is much better. Tell you what, you know what? I really feel like I'm probably one of those interesting people. I just feel like I'm not pushed on the algorithms because I'm too honest, you know? And they don't want real entertainment. They want to have low quality entertainment. Grilled sponsors footy teams. Yeah, well, they are a bit pricey though. They are a little bit pricey. But then again, look, it's still better to be playing football than it is to be out drinking and smoking and worship. You know what? Sports is still better than rock stars. Because I grew up homeschooled, and so I just had my dad's taste. So I was listening to like music from the 1960s. The Doors, Led Zeppelin, The Beatles, Black Sabbath, The Who, Yes, the band. And so I grew up idolizing these 1960s rock stars, and they're pretty satanic, and they're all about like women and getting drunk and stuff. And I'd much rather be like a sports nerd than a rock and roll nerd. Let me tell you that. But yeah, it's just obviously the fact that, you know, there's a lot of problems with booze too. Like a lot of footy players, they drink a lot. Well, you know what? I think it's because most videos I see that do well, they're either promoting fear, they're promoting division, they're promoting feminism, they're promoting degeneracy, or they're promoting literally just nonsense. They're just promoting like the obsession with self. They're promoting like this endless pursuit of like Peter Pan syndrome, like being young forever, and this obsession with youth, this obsession with being pretty. Yeah, well, I heard this doctor say once on a train, he was saying that if you get drunk every single week, once a week, you're an alcoholic. You know, we have this misconception that alcoholic is like this red-nosed guy that just rolls out of bed and has a bottle of whiskey for breakfast. No, it's just the idea of depending on that once a week. That is still an addiction. And, you know, it's very unique to Australia. Like I was in America in 2023. There's not as big a problem there. I really feel like Australians, the culture of booze is so big here because the food is better. They needed to kind of keep people kind of kept down a little bit. And also, it's not really the booze that's the problem. It's that you fuck ugly bitches when you're drunk. And it makes you just crave that. You know, like all you want to do is just like, fuck. You know? Or you just want to fuck or fight. That's it. That's all you want to do. And that's really animalistic thinking. And I can't stand the idea of giving too much attention to people that don't deserve it. Like, and also it causes trust issues. You know, he's like this guy Blair Cottrell made a good point these days. A lot of women, they have this look on their face, like they're like, kind of like, kind of angry. And I think it's because they've lost trust in men, because men have been like just conditioned to try and hit it and quit it. And a lot of young folks now, a lot of young fellas, they've just given up on relationships forever. And even guys in their 40s, I've got relatives in their early 40s who are like really friendly, got pretty good money, like good business, and they're pretty good looking, like they're healthy, and they're giving up on women because they're so red-pilled. They're like, oh, you can't trust women, they're all, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's partly the fault that, like dating apps and stuff have just made it, they're giving women so much power through casual sex that it's actually made them bitter, because it's give someone power, they don't deserve it, it messes with their heads. Yeah, but the thing is, Elon Musk, he's got kids, lots of women, but some of his kids are, we can probably do well with Asian girls, they turned out trans. And so his genes are dying off. There's no point having lots of baby mamas, because those kids grow up to be retarded. Like, if you don't have your dad around, it's not good. Just because you throw money, you can't throw money at a woman and make her raise your kids well. And think about that. You think you're a big shot because you've got lots of kids with different women. You're gone. They've got other men coming over. You got little Timmy, he's 4 years old, coming out with his little teddy bear. He sees his mum talking to the postman. He's there having a glass of wine this big, and he's like filling up her butt cheeks at the kitchen counter. He's going to be like, Mama, is that Papa? And he's like, no, little Timmy, go to bed. I'm spending time with the postman. How much do you think how old he's going to grow up to be? If someone sees his woman, his mum, with all these different men every weekend, Jimmy, you're banned. I can't stand faggots. I'll just become the postman's wife for her to get with me. Hey, well, that's a good strategy. I mean, nothing wrong with being a postman. You're working, and it's good for your brain too to figure out all the streets. Like, when you're having to figure out all the different streets, it's great for your development. Like, I heard that New York City cab drivers in the 1990s had like one of the biggest prefrontal cortexes, because they're constantly remembering all the navigation before Navman. So, and you're getting lots of sunshine. You're basically your own boss. I think he was referring to, he was basically trying to devalue this entire life and say it was all about looks, because obviously he's one of these people who've got brain damage, and so he thinks that people are only worth their physicality, and he's not deep enough to understand that the intellect and the pursuit of meaningful conversation. I've just got done. I got done for harassment. See, that's what happens. That's why I don't have many views. It's because I'm an honest man. The internet can't handle this. They want to have liars, manipulators, chutzpah, thieves. That's what they want. They want to lower the human race. They want to lower the Europeans and make them think small, make them in a state of fear. No, he wasn't. They want them to be small and just... Message from your parole officer, needs to move tomorrow to 3 p.m. Bro, I've never been to prison. Only dumb cunts go to prison. Haven't you ever heard that? If you get caught, that means you deserve to get caught. It means you're a dopey, and good riddance. Is Australia Zog? No, there's good places in Australia. Have you been to Mullumbimby? Mate. Actually, it's actually overrated. There's heaps of stoners and kids that don't know their parents. Pretty shit, to be honest. But they've got a lot of naturopaths, and they've got a lot of fluoride-free water. Danny, I don't think you want to know. I don't think you like me. Frankie, let's go camping, my friend. Today, I've got the tent. I've got the sourdough. I've got the filtered water. Let's go camping. yogurt truck hitting a brick wall. Oh, is that another sexual comment? No, I just don't think you like me. Block account, Frankly and Murphy. No time for that. Okay, my Danny, I'll tell you. I am doing a Bachelor of Psychology at an online university in Australia. I was in my last semester and during COVID, and then I stopped going, so I failed 3 units that semester, and so I got done, and so I haven't bothered to study since then. And so going back, because it's been so long, so my units have expired, so now I'm studying again. I'm redoing the units. But I've been working in the industry now for 5.5 years. And I have to admit, on this live, I'm being dramatic. Normally, I'm actually a nice guy. I'm just being a little bit dramatic because I'm trying to be entertaining. And obviously, I can be professional, and I'm normally very sensitive. I normally have like a very soft-spoken voice, and I have extreme emotional regulation skills. You could literally stand centimeters from my face and yell at me, and I would keep my composure. You could break down in tears in front of me, and I would still direct the conversation into a place of calmness and de-escalation, and I'll write my reports after. And I also know how to say the truth without offending people. The gift about a jacket. I don't remember getting angry about a jacket. But also, I'm on a live. Remember that? It's different because I'm not at work right now. This is for free. Because I'm volunteering here, I'm allowed to do what I want to do. That's the beauty of being at the bottom of the barrel. Is that when you have no power, you have freedom. I'm mad because I'm entertaining. Okay, well, guess what? You're banned for life. See, only intellectual comments in this place. You don't take kindly to people making cheap shots. No cheap shots. How I'm open to critique. You can say anything you want. You can say really mean things, but you have to be specific and you have to be kind of articulate. Don't just say stuff like, you've got a receding hairline, you've got acne scars, you've got dandruff on your jacket, you've got your USB cord. You're the biggest home in the world. If you're a biggest homeowner, well, I would say that that's not really a flex because there's a lot of people looking for a home. And if you've got the most homes, why not invest in something that actually benefits the community? You owe for your home. A lot of people owe for their homes because the interest rates are pretty high, and obviously the inflated real estate because of the greedy baby boomers and the toxic levels of immigration and the banks having unrestricted power and the politicians bailing out the banks. And the fact that the banks have been sold offshore, and so they're able to invest the money from superannuation and from these home loans overseas and bring the money back without actually giving them this irrational sense of power. And so I get it. I understand. You owe a lot of money on your home. But you know what? It doesn't even matter because people have flipped their homes anyway. That's the whole point. People just buy a home and they flip it. They never intend to pay off the mortgage. It's all a facade. The whole thing is a game. No one ever intends to own their home. They're relying on the interest rates to go up so they can flip it. And that's why houses are ugly now, because people don't actually care about their home. It's just an investment. It's purely business. And that's why the aesthetics are ruined. You go for a walk with the dog, you feel nihilism because you look around, all the houses are ugly because no one ever bothers to make a nice home because all they care about is business. A home should be a home. It should be a place, a holy place, a place that you do up, and every weekend you wake up early, you're proud to trim your prunes. You're proud to do up your home. But it's not. It's about money. Money is everything. Stevie, I don't really care. I'm just in the flow. You know what? I'm actually applying for a home at the moment. I'm thinking about moving to Queensland back from Melbourne. Because the culture in Victoria, something's happened. People look miserable. They look unhealthy. They drink too much. Hey, Stevie! Air high five, my friend. Hey, brother from another mother. Go Queensland. Go Queensland. Oh. It's your birthday. Oh. Yeah, something about Victoria. People are paranoid. They're untrusting. They've got these like premature Sauvignon Blanc wrinkles. Everyone's wearing black all the time. And they just have this melancholic look in their face. It has the highest amount of people on SSRI medication. Article, guess what? You're banned for life. You tell me to relax, I tell you to get out of my life. I'm being charismatic. If you don't like it, you go watch football. Mate. Go watch someone in shorts kick a ball. Yeah, and there's so much implications because of the COVID debt, because they're giving out money here. And, Queensland has the most sports stars in Australia. I find that interesting. The most Olympic athletes are all from Queensland. Can you buy a horse? Oh my God, why is everyone so obsessed with sex, bro? I am banning so much. I've banned like 20 accounts. Dude. Man, I'm getting a banning workout tonight. But you know what? I still appreciate the passion. At least they're out there giving it a go. I actually had a video about this today. Did I upload that video? I'm not sure. But the video I made was about how it's much easier to try and break down the competition than it is to self-improve. So if you've got good genetics, or if you're putting yourself out there, people are always going to try and bring you down with passive-aggressive little snarky comments or getting in your space, because they just want you to be stressed out, because they want your immune system to be lower, because they want you to get sick, and then you miss out on possibilities and you get slightly less healthy, because it's much easier to destroy competition than it is to self-improve. So I understand why people do it. It's much easier to try and cull the competition, so to speak. And all these people, I guarantee you they're out of shape. I guarantee you they've got poor genetics. I guarantee you they haven't got a hot woman. I guarantee you they're not well read. They haven't got any future. It's all people with terrible genetics who are usually short. They're usually prematurely balding. They usually don't have access to high value women. And they're the ones who are the most likely to just try and claw down the competition as opposed to building themselves. And I get it, because it's a tactic. And it works. I've seen it in corporate work environments. How many times you work in an office and people, they try to big note themselves by gossiping about others and getting them in trouble instead of actually focusing on the task itself. Yeah, it's definitely a strategy, is to just make everyone else look bad instead of focusing on yourself. But then again, just to be mindful is that you always have to be willing to accept criticism, but it has to be somewhat coherent. Like, you can't just block all of the haters. You have to be willing to accept criticism just when they put a little bit of effort into it. You know, when they actually say something, somewhat rational. Can't just be like silly stuff. Anywho, catch you later. Don't forget to be honest and true to yourself and respect your ancestors. What would your ancestors do? Think about one day you're going to die and you want to know that you've left a mark on this world that makes the world a slightly better place than it was when you were on it. God bless. Have a good day. Peace.